Use the Force, Luke.
Live long and prosper.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Shut up and take my money.
By Grabthar's hammer, what a saving.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
X never, ever marks the spot.
Winter is coming.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Stay a while and listen.
Hey ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Your ties are cool.
So say we all.
This is a Play on Nerds.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 87 of A Play on Nerds. We're welcoming you back for our very special, as always, holiday spectacular. Woohoo! Here to Play on Nerds. We've got so much holiday cheer for you, you're going to crap yourselves. I'm sorry. It's just going to happen.
It's holiday crap.
Yeah. It's all just confetti and wrapping paper. That's
coming
all
out of your ass.
That's all it is. That's what we're here to bring you.
And who are you?
And I'm Steve, one of the guys who's going to do that to you.
And I'm Jarman. I'm the other guy going to make you crap your pants.
That's right, with holiday cheer.
And what are we mainly focusing on today as the feature of our episode?
So, in our continuing segments of reviewing both all of the Star Trek films on Jarman's behalf and all of the Muppet films on my behalf, we moved some episodes around and doubled up on Star Trek so that we could time perfectly the Muppet Christmas Carol for this, our holiday spectacular episode.
That's right. And if you're not a fan of the Muppets, we got a lot more other holiday stuff for you. And if you're a fan of the Muppets, hold off for a little while. We'll get to it in a bit.
But in the meantime, what have you been up to since last we spoke, and what are you doing for the holidays?
Now, I have to first apologize for the tardiness of last episode. We obviously talked about Thanksgiving on that episode, and it came out so much later than that. But I had like 2 audiobooks due right before I had to go on vacation to Denver, Colorado, which is where I went from like the 1st to the 8th of December.
He was gone forever.
Yeah, so I had to wait till then to edit the podcast. It had to just take a back seat, unfortunately. That usually doesn't happen, but so it was later even than usual, so I really apologize for that.
But the good news is we already anticipated that we were going to get absolutely crazy leading up to the holidays, so we only planned on doing one episode anyway, and we're still doing it.
Pretty much one for December, yeah.
We're here for you, but this is it. I'm sorry.
And I went to Denver, which was awesome. Colorado is now blatantly a smoke approved city in the United States.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's all of Colorado or just Denver, but pot is legal there now. And I'm actually allergic to marijuana, so I can't smoke it. But walking down the street, you can smell it everywhere you go. You're like, oh, there's marijuana.
Yeah. There's parts of San Fran, exact same thing.
Same thing, because all of California is legal now too, right?
Yes, and then not quite yet, but soon it's going to be for recreational.
Oh,
you don't even have to have a prescription. That's coming in this next year.
Oh, okay.
They had to get something like tax things in place, and they had to get payment centers in place, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So they needed time to set everything up.
Because I went to my first dispensary with my friends that we went on vacation with, and they went in and just legally bought marijuana, and they had no prescription, nothing.
All you need is an ID.
Yeah, they had separate sections that you couldn't walk in both. They had one for medicinal, one for recreational, and they had to separate the rooms because it's a different kind of marijuana, apparently. But it was interesting.
Different concentrations and that sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And then not only that, if you purchase out of the medical, like this is part of the California one, you get like better tax break, basically, than the people that are going to be buying recreational.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the best part for me, I got to see my sister, which is really cool. She lives there in Denver now, but also Vail, Colorado, which I am not a skier or a snowboarder. I don't like outdoor activities.
No.
But it was beautiful there. And
yeah.
Yeah, just the views and from the place we were staying was gorgeous, and so that was very relaxing.
I mean, the photos that you sent all looked very picturesque.
Oh, very picturesque. And it was
so picturesque.
Right before it was too snowy to walk around, so it's pretty nice. But
okay. Good.
And beyond that, I saw Last Jedi, but we're not going to talk about that on this episode because Steve has not yet seen it.
No, I've not. I've only heard extremely mixed reviews.
Right.
Just extremely mixed reviews.
The Star Wars super fans are very either really upset or really loving it. I fall somewhere in the middle, but we'll talk about it when Steve sees it on the next episode.
After we see it, but that's all I know about it right now.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I've been up to for the holidays. I'm mainly sticking around here in Orlando. A lot of my family's coming down towards this area, so I don't have to go anywhere. Just a little bit of family time, nothing crazy, and that's it for me. So what's been up with you, buddy?
Not too much on the home front. We are, but we went and finally, Anna's had some trouble breathing since she got pregnant. And like, we were basically, the doctor was like, yep, sometimes your nose gets stuffed up when you're pregnant. And we were told it was normal. And then she had the kid, and then it was still stuffed up. And she went to the doc, and the doctor was like, yep, takes up to 6 months for your like sinuses to rebalance themselves sometimes. And so we ignored it. And then we went back to the doc, and they're like, well, it's allergy season.
Oh, gee.
Here's some allergy medicine. Take this
check
and
it out,
go
doc?
home. Right. And she kind of kept getting pushed off. And finally I said, you know what? It's not allergy season anymore. Go see a specialist. Skip your doc, go straight to the specialist. They took one look, and Anna has nasal polyps, which are, these hangy nasal. These like, they're just blockages.
Getting in the way, yeah.
Just getting in the way. And so we've got surgery scheduled to have them removed right after the new year. So that's going to be fun. But I'm just glad she's finally getting taken care of.
Yeah, so you can finally be able to breathe again.
Yeah, and just sort of all the tests and stuff that surround getting ready for that have just sort of just eaten us alive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But otherwise, we're going to be at Anna's mom's house for the big day. And then that night, actually, Christmas night, because it was the cheapest tickets available, we are taking a red-eye flight to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow. Across the United States.
We get into Pittsburgh at like 6 a.m.
Goodness.
We're going to go rest up because my brother and his wife and their kid get in at like 5 p.m. And then we're doing Christmas morning with my parents the next morning. So like the morning of the 27th.
So not 3 hours later, but like the next morning.
Right. Well, because the problem is they get in that evening. So either we would have to try to do it that night and they're going to be tired and we're going to be tired. Or we can let everyone settle, have a good night's sleep, and then like hit Christmas on the 27th hard.
Well, it's great. You'll all be together, though.
Yeah, we're just happy to have that opportunity.
In your parents' beautiful house. I love that place.
Oh, yeah. And it's already snowed, and it's bitter cold there. It's going to be real fun. We had my mom keep an eye out for, because you can't buy that kind of clothing out here, like a snow onesie.
Oh, that'd be adorable.
For Joyce, we're like, just keep it for secondhand, because we're only going to need it for like the 4 days we're there.
We'll have to see pictures of that.
Yes, I will get pictures of snow onesie. And my snow onesie.
You better wear one. Also. In solidarity with your child.
They don't make them in my size and also in the My Little Pony print I want.
Oh, that is false. I bet you could find that somewhere on the internet.
You're right. You're the worst, but you're right.
Absolutely.
But that's good. I'm glad that we both sound like we have an exciting holiday season ahead of us.
And a relaxing one. Not too crazy.
And I think that takes us into some nerd news.
It's time for Nerdy News.
Some holiday nerd news.
Mine's not holiday themed.
Neither is mine.
All right, good. Just imagine jingle. Actually, Jarvin, just put jingle bells behind
there you
nerd
go.
news, and then whatever we talk about is Christmassy.
Jing, 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 jing. So I'm actually going to go second with this. So what do you got for us?
I've got I've got two stories that I'm grouping together that I'm calling Predators Everywhere.
That sounds so Christmassy. Is it Krampus?
Yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. No, so the first is a study that that they did of a bunch of like teenage boys.
Mm-hmm.
And they did these personality tests that basically measured how much they're willing to take advantage of other people and bully people and get ahead at other people's expense.
A lot.
So they built this scale, and then they took the same group and they had them take a discussion about like sexual partners and sexual experience and like successes, blah, blah, blah. And they lined them up then, and they realized that the bigger the jerk and the bully, the more sex that person had.
Oh, geez.
So it wasn't just in our mind that those jackasses, like every jerk in high school, was somehow having sex.
I mean, maybe it like builds their confidence up to this egotastic level where they think that they're just awesome. And so that's
what they think is that it's left over from our evolution from back when being a bigger, more aggressive, more willing to put down other male dominant just for the sake of having sex, where that was the main thing. it's like left over from that time.
Sure. I mean, I've seen studies of where like women, they are at that age susceptible to that more so than when they get older, more mature, and their brain is able to think at a higher level than just like their hormones and think, okay, what do I really want in a partner in today's society? I need a partner who has longevity, who makes money, who makes me feel secure and safe, and not an erratic, angry, aggressive male.
Right. Who would bully or who would manipulate in order to try to get sex.
Right. So that doesn't have long-term value.
So nerdy guys everywhere, it wasn't just our imaginations in high school. Those jerks that you're like, how is she with him? Scientifically, it was against us. We didn't know at the time, but scientifically, it was against us.
You just got to play the long game, nerds.
Long game.
And I like how I remember these misconceptions of me in high school. I talked to people later on thinking that I was like this ladies' man. I had lots of sex in high school. It's like, I had 2 girlfriends in high school. It's just that I had more girlfriends than most of my friends had.
Yeah, but you were like, here's the thing though. Even though you did only have, I think, 2 real long-term girlfriends, I think maybe 3, I would qualify one other. You dated a lot.
I did not date a lot. That's a thing. I did not barely see anyone. No.
You did.
You think
I was there for all of them. So here's the thing. I understand you're talking about these other people that didn't know you well, but you're talking to your best friend. Like, I was there. You dated. I'm talking about going out, maybe hooking up a little bit, you know.
I didn't hook up until
college. But that was very consistent.
I did not hook up at all in high school. Only in college did I start hooking up with people.
Okay, if you say so, bud.
This belongs on the Soul Forge podcast, which is by Sean Vanderloo, which explores relationships, life, love, and sex, and all that kind of thing, which we'll not get into on this episode.
Good plug, German. But no, I was definitely there. That definitely happened.
You're so wrong. So wrong.
So the other Predator story I have is Jake Busey has made a statement about The Predators, or the Predator film. It's coming out in 2018.
Nice
where
connection.
He is going to be playing the son of his father's character from Predator 2.
Oh, wow.
Looking for what killed his dad.
He's playing Gary Busey's son is playing Gary Busey's son.
It's so meta that it just hurts me to think about.
And everyone's remember a character from Predator 2.
But his statement basically was that, it's going to get back to really the origins of Predators and why they're here and their modus operandi. And it's really going to get back to the origins, like their tech and showing how cool their tech is and how they use it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Predators everywhere.
What's it going to be called?
The Predator.
Oh, The Predator. Okay.
That
makes it more fun. Get your money.
He's the one.
All right. Well, it's very well connected there.
So I'm excited for your nerd news.
All right, so I'm making this new segment that I think we should continue throughout each year. When we reach our last episode of the year, we just talk about which genre shows, being sci-fi, fantasy, and I'd say animated and horror as well, are being renewed and which shows are being canceled. Because this is a either really happy time for us or a sad time if you're really invested in these shows.
Okay.
And so, good news first. Here's the shows that'll be continuing into the next year, either finishing up their last season or they're not canceled and going to go on forever. First, we have The 100, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Arrow, The Big Bang Theory. Bob's Burgers, which I have not seen yet. The Exorcist, haven't seen it.
No.
Family Guy, of course, is still going on. The Flash, Gotham, iZombie, which I haven't watched, but the girlfriend loves it. Last Man on Earth, which is a great post-apocalyptic show. It's really funny.
Oh, yeah. Love that one.
Yeah, good. I didn't know you watched that. Legends of Tomorrow, one of those superhero shows. Lucifer.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that.
Once Upon a Time, surprisingly, is still making it on into next year.
How?
It's on Friday nights now, though, so I think it's probably going to be canceled.
It hasn't made sense in 3 seasons.
And it's been boring, too. And also Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mentioned earlier. I think that's just continuing into this next year, but it's uncertain for the next season because it's also on Friday nights, which is always a death sentence.
Oh, yeah. Except for TGIF, which captured the minds of a generation.
TGIF. That's like Clarissa Explains It All. And
Family Matters, and I think Full House, maybe.
It's a rare condition in this day and age. The good news. Okay.
Whatever that one was. Yeah.
That was Family Matters. That was good. The originals on the CW, have not seen it. Riverdale, which is kind of a weird-ish genre show. It's strange. It's Archie and Jughead and all that. The Simpsons are still going on somehow. Supergirl, Supernatural is in its last season, but it's continuing next year. I love that show. Timeless, I thought was canceled, but apparently still going. 12 Monkeys, A Series of Unfortunate Events, American Dad. I have not even seen that in years. I didn't know it was still on. Good. American Gods, I'm glad that's going for. That's a great show. It's beautiful. American Horror Story, still going. Archer, I meant to catch up on that because it's also really good. Ash vs. Evil Dead, fantastic show. Glad it's still going. BoJack Horseman, Daredevil.
Wow, a lot of things survived.
Yeah, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which I've heard great things about, but I've not watched. The Expanse, Fear the Walking Dead, The Handmaid's Tale, Into the Badlands, Iron Fist, Legion, The Librarians, The Magicians.
Wow.
The Man in the High Castle. Yes, I'm glad that's continuing, so I love that show. Mr. Robot, The OA is coming back, which was a great one-season thing on Netflix. I didn't think they were coming back, but there it is. Outcast, Outlander, The Path, Preacher, Scream, South Park, still going strong.
Dear Lord, it never ends.
It never ends. That's been like 25 years. Stand Against Evil, which is basically a copy off of Ash vs. Evil Dead, which I don't appreciate.
Okay, good.
But, Stranger Things, of course. The Strain, almost the end here. Van Helsing, Westworld, Wynonna Earp, and Z Nation. So, our very short list of canceled shows, thankfully, is Emerald City, which I really liked. It was the whole like reimagining of Dorothy and Wizard of Oz with good actors. Frequency, which is based off that movie, didn't make it. Powerless, looked funny, didn't make it. Scream Queens, Sleepy Hollow is finally ending. Blunt Talk, which I'm sad about because I had Patrick Stewart in his own little series where he played basically a version of himself, and it was really funny. Dark Matter, people are upset about that one. Sense8 is canceled, but we'll have a wrap-up movie for 2018. Salem, and then Son of Zorn, which was a short-lived animated show.
Oh, yeah, I vaguely remember that.
You know, kind of like Conan-ish.
With animation cells over live action. Yeah.
Right. So once a year, you can live through me listing off these things, but basically it's everything we'd look forward to for next year and what's not going to make it. But pretty good, I think. A lot of good shows are still going.
Mind you, I'm interested to see how the landscape of a lot of that changes now that Disney is going to own Fox soon.
That is weird. Yeah.
A lot of the shows you just named are Fox or FX properties.
I was just going to say, yeah, FX is a lot of those too, and that's also Fox. So it's crazy to think of because they already have their own channel. ABC.
Yeah, they now own Archer, Bob's Burgers, The Simpsons, Family Guy.
That's crazy.
Right. It's insane. They own so much now. It's incredible.
Like they own antitrust laws are weird too.
They own 30% of Hulu, but they're going to launch their own streaming service.
Maybe they won't have to now.
Maybe. This could be their play to buy in without having to do anything.
Right, because I think that'd be silly to shoot themselves in the foot if they're pulling away from their own money from Hulu. But who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? But yeah, it could change incredibly over the next year. I'm interested to see what happens.
And also the Marvel properties, being folded together like X-Men and
X-Men are now going to be pulled in. Fantastic Four now back in. So basically the only ones they don't own now are the ones that Sony still has control over.
Which isn't that much, but just mostly all the Spider-Man main villains.
Right. And there is some TV stuff they don't have control over as well. Some of the minor series kind of stuff.
A little weird.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy though.
I think they have Swamp Thing now. So there you go.
Yes.
Or Man Thing. I don't know.
Man Thing.
I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Christmas is all around me, and so the feeling grows.
So to get us into the holiday spirit, before we get into our main movie discussion, I've come up with a bit called The Reason for the Season, where I've got the background on a few things that we maybe take for granted from the holiday season. So the holiday itself, December 25th, was first celebrated as the birth of Jesus on December 25th as far back as 336. And then a few years after that, the Pope Julius I officially declared that December 25th was the birth of Jesus.
Even though, like, by calculations, they know that's not when even the fictitious Jesus would have been born.
Right, but that's when the first Christian Roman emperor had been, Constantine, had been celebrating it, and so I think the Pope was just signing on.
Look, all right, let's do it.
Yep.
And it was like a pagan holiday before that, right?
Yeah, it was this thing called the Feast. Most people think it comes from Saturnalia, which was this sacrifice and feast to the god Saturn. And this feast happened from December 17th to the 23rd. And then 2 days later, on something called Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, nobody speaks Latin, which means the birth of the unconquered sun, on December 25th, started then like the ascent into like spring.
So it's like a seasonal holiday.
Yeah. There's a lot of very cool links between like ancient sun worship and the Jesus mythos. It's pretty cool. There's pretty interesting stuff.
Absolutely.
So some minor things. Rudolph, who has become like a staple of our childhood, was not in the reindeer mythos for a really long time. A guy named Robert L. May, who was a copywriter, wrote this poem about Rudolph for Montgomery Ward because they needed a Christmas mascot.
Makes sense.
And so Rudolph is a production of a great ad campaign by Montgomery Ward.
And pretty much the modern day version of Santa Claus is basically the amalgam that Coke put together with their ad
basically
campaigns. Yeah.
And then, something that's interesting I hadn't heard of, but it's got German roots apparently, kind of, the Christmas pickle.
Yes, I heard about that recently on another podcast.
Yeah, so in the 1880s, Woolworths made all these vegetable ornaments, and one of them was a pickle. And for some reason, it became this thing that it was an old German tradition to have a pickle ornament on the tree. And then you search for the pickle ornament on Christmas morning, and the first person to find it got a bonus pickle gift.
I always like playing hide the pickle with my family.
That's right. Always in the tree. Always.
That's so terrible. Also, try saying Woolworths 3 times fast.
Woolworths. And some believe it was part of maybe like a clever ad campaign to sell more of these things. But basically, German people, like, there's no indication that it actually ever came from German roots.
They just made that
like,
shit up.
at all. Like, it just kind of amalgamated out of nowhere. But yeah, it's the Christmas pickle.
And I heard on the podcast Bizarre States from Nerdist, Jessica Chobot's one of the hosts, and she would hide it every year. Her parents would hide it, and whichever kid found it would get some money. That was like a thing. They'd find the pickle and get some money. So it's just weird. I never heard of that before.
And with that, getting us into the holiday mindset, I think that takes us into our main segment, our review of the Muppet Christmas Carol.
It's in the giving of a gift to another, a pair of mittens that were made by your mother.
It's all the ways that we show love that feel like Christmas. Upon a child that will always remember, it is the summer of the soul in December. Yes.
So, Jarvin, what did you think about this? As the not Muppet guy.
I had to admit that I found this movie much less magical than the other Muppet movies we've watched so far.
Okay. In what way? Because they do travel through time and dimensions,
right,
and that kind of stuff.
But I mean, just as far as like, maybe it's as simple as how bleak it is because it's a Dickens story, and it's
true.
Dark palette of colors. There's not a lot of celebration. There's not a lot of happiness until the very end, of course. Kermit's not the lead of the story, which is a first time for these movies, of course.
Yeah.
And so it just didn't feel Muppety. I felt like I was watching kind of an odd version of the Christmas Carol with bad songs. So that's my initial impression.
It's funny that the way you're describing it, because the way you're describing it is literally exactly what they were going for.
Really?
Like
a bad version of the Christmas Carol?
No. I don't think it was a bad version of Christmas Carol. Right. I just don't think it was the Muppety version of the Christmas Carol people were expecting.
Right.
It was just more serious and a little bit more dour, but they wanted to be very true to the original book. And even Brian Henson, when he met with Michael Caine the first time, he was kind of describing what he wanted. And Michael Caine said, I'm going to play this as if I was on like the royal stage with the most serious actors in the world. And Brian Henson said, yes, that's exactly how I want it.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want him playing up to the Muppets. He didn't want him making it silly. He wanted him to be the best Ebenezer Scrooge ever.
That's why I think it's kind of a misfire, because there's nothing about this that makes it a Muppet movie except for the occasional silly jokes from Rizzo and Gonzo. And it's like, otherwise this is like, why is this a Muppet movie? You know, like that's the way it felt to me. Is like, it just kind of felt like they were trying too hard to be serious and then just made it so it's like, well, this is like any other Christmas Carol movie, except it's not as good. I'm sorry. I'm being really critical here.
No. I thought that it was a very, I like that it was a very direct Christmas Carol, and that it's my favorite Christmas Carol because of they just took it and they made it theirs. They didn't try to make it like a crazy giant Muppet production.
Well, I think the problem was that I do like this story and in all its different adaptations. And almost every single time I've watched the Muppet or A Christmas Carol on stage or in Scrooged or in the Patrick Stewart version or the 1984 version with George C. Scott, like that turn at the end when he gets so happy and he wants to celebrate, he's so happy he can redo Christmas. I always tear up a little bit. Like it gets me, it moves me. And this time it was so muted by Michael Caine. It might be mostly his fault. Like I feel like he did not hit those emotional high notes like he really needs to. He's like, I'm very happy. It's Christmas.
When he's crying at his grave.
Well, that was better than when he outbursts at the end. That's my part that always turns me. That makes me when he comes out, and he's really happy. He just didn't hit it for me. But he was great at the crying scene. But then once it came to being happy, it's like he just didn't do enough for me. But
okay,
I don't know.
Because that part of the movie was very heavy on him. Even the Muppets backed out. Like I love that they even addressed that.
That was a great moment. They're like, oh, it's too scary. We'll be back at the finale.
We'll see you guys at the finale.
That was really funny. I like that. My favorite moments in this movie were the Rizzo Gonzo like moments. They had great chemistry. Like that's a great pairing. They're so funny together.
Oh yeah, I mean they go together very well in a lot of different settings, which is why it's a pairing that's been used a lot.
Your Christmas apples. Red, delicious. Tuppence a piece while they last. They won't last long the way you're eating them. Hey, I'm creating scarcity. Drives the prices up. Rizzo. Hello.
By them, that and because they're the two of the only like real original guys left.
Oh yeah, the voices.
But Steve Whitmire's gone now. The guy Rizzo, he's gone. This guy got fired.
Yeah, he got fired. He's dead or something.
He's gone.
But he went off the deep end too. So
yeah, a little bit he did. But no, that they're absolutely great, and they went through multiple revisions where originally they were going to be Charles and Dickens.
Nice.
Like co-tell the story, but then that didn't work because Rizzo plays the straight man better against Gonzo, so it wouldn't quite work well. And they also did the narration so that they could fit as much of the original Christmas Carol in as possible.
Yeah, I like that.
And a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the words they use are directly from the book. They're
like
very
the one
true in that way.
Michael Caine makes a pun of some sort. And I think that was probably from the original book. It was like,
there's more of gravy than of grave about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it that one? Was that the
had
one?
To be a Charles Dickens line. Because they make fun of it. They're like, what the hell? That's a horrible pun.
More of gravy than of grave. Oh, oh man. And then I've got you said terrible songs. I love some of the music in this is a miss. I agree. But there's some great music throughout.
Well, here's my issue, I think, as I'm developing my opinion on Muppets in general, is that they're actually not that bad of songs. But just the problem is, from an objective standpoint, if you knew nothing about Muppets whatsoever and were just hearing these songs, they're not very good singers. And I know some of that's on purpose because they're like trying to do character voices, which is fine, but they're not hitting the notes very well. They're not very strong singers. And so it's just like, it's not very nice, pleasant to listen to. And so if you really just take yourself back from like the idea of them being Muppets and that's cute and that's the characters and it's, interesting that way, like get some better singers. Like, I mean, that's why I love so much in Follow That Bird when those, the two adults from Sesame Street were singing, because they are fantastic singers. And I was like, wow, that's a big difference. And then the song's beautiful now. And then it goes back to the Muppets.
Yeah, but how are the Muppet singers in Follow That Bird? You're talking about humans though.
I'm saying the Muppets weren't that great either in that movie. In any of the movies, the Muppets aren't very strong singers.
Well, yeah, it's because they've got to be characters.
Right. And you can still be characters and sing well. But the problem is when you're relying so heavily on singing and then all of your performers don't sing very well, it kind of takes me out of the movie a little bit. That's the only problem.
See, I disagree with you because a lot of the Muppet performers really have some musical chops.
Like the Statler and Waldorf singing in this movie as the Marley Brothers, like they were all over the place and like very off key, and like some of that's character, but some of it's just they can't sing very well.
For me, I excuse it because, and this is tough, and this is across the board now, it's something you kind of got used to, is that neither of those are those guys' original characters.
Yeah, they just changed
so they're
them out
doing
for this
an
movie.
Impression of the way Jim and Jerry used to do it.
That's kind of excusable too. Yeah,
and then trying to sing through an impression they're doing of 2 dead guys.
And the same could be said about Kermit, because he was a little bit better of a singer in the past movies, and now it's a brand new guy playing him. So I do understand that. That is kind of excusable.
And that's the other thing. Steve Whitmire, the guy who did Kermit for a long time, he has some really crazy vocal chops. He's got a really high, clear register and range. He can hit some crazy high notes, but he's doing his Kermit impression of Jim's Kermit impression and then trying to sing through it.
And not very used to it yet. Yeah.
Right. And it's just strange. So in my mind, I kind of go, yeah, it makes sense, but is that excusable?
And then Michael Caine sings at the end, and he's terrible.
That musical number was not.
Life is like a journey. Who knows when it ends? Yes, and if you need to know the measure of a man, you simply count his friends.
With an open heart, with a fresh shot.
I'm trying to hold it down.
It's like, be deaf, you are niche to me. You
should have had him talk sing the whole thing. What do we do when we fall down? We get back up again, Mr. Wayne.
Why do we fall, sir? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
I love we fall.
Oh God! So that took it out for me. The songs weren't that bad. I like the best one that was least distracting was the Tiny Tim song. That was nice and pleasant, and made you feel for the family.
Life is full of sweet surprises. Every day's a gift. Yeah, it's a sweet one.
That was very adorable. So I like that.
I always like that one. I really enjoy. It feels like Christmas.
Which one's that?
With the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Oh, that was I wrote down that he was my favorite ghost.
Come in and know me better, man.
He says it over and over again.
Yeah. And then the first Spirit had some really terrible technical difficulties, so it became a very limited performance.
It was creepy as hell.
So in the first one, it's David Goelz, the guy who also does Gonzo. He was a performer in the tank, and they were originally doing it in a tank of like baby oil.
Ugh.
And within the first day, they had 3 puppets to do it with. The first puppet was just ruined.
Gotta imagine.
The oil had soaked into like the pores on the fabric and just like it was expanded and bloated. Just
even more terrifying.
Really messed up. And so they had to nix it, and they just brought in a pure water tank. And David Goelz, through all this, had to hop into a giant tank full of baby oil and a giant tank full of water for like 3 days.
Yikes.
To film all this stuff with like a scuba tank on.
It looked really cool. It just looked really creepy.
Yeah. But filming did not go according to plan with that specific puppet.
And another big scene that was impressive, kind of like the bicycle scenes in the previous movies, was the all the rats cleaning up the office. I'm sure that would have taken a ton of work, so that was pretty impressive.
One More Sleep Till Christmas is another one of those musical numbers I really disagree with you. I think it's a Muppet classic.
No Sleep Till Christmas? Which one is that?
One More Sleep Till Christmas.
After all, there's only one more sleep till Christmas.
That's when they're cleaning up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a season that one I did enjoy. I did enjoy us.
So what song didn't you like? I've named like 3 songs of the 7, and you've said you've liked all of them.
So what I was saying is that the songs themselves aren't bad. It's just that it's so distracting because the singing is so bad. That like it goes beyond character voices to just being like, these are really bad singers. Whereas maybe they just got used to their voices better than in the following movies. We need to watch them and see. But it's just, but none of the songs really stuck out to me, to be perfectly honest. Like in the other movies. Hey, yo, maybe you're like that. Like I still remember that, but like I'm not gonna remember any of the songs from this movie.
Yeah, I guess
they're not as catchy as the other ones. I guess.
I mean, it's everything's a slower tempo, pretty much.
True. And I guess that's part of it too. It's just this story I feel doesn't lend itself very well to Muppets if I were just being pitched as an elevator, because the rest of the stories are all about this great hope that they always have hope till the very end, and there's always going to be some kind of mission to accomplish. And maybe the rest of the movies aren't like that, but the previous ones we've watched so far, it's all about accomplishing this great mission. How are they going to do it? They get stopped along the way, but they pull through in the end. And this was just completely different because it's a known story.
I mean,
it's still out of place to me.
I mean, the way I think about this movie, as far as like in the historical context, was Jim was gone.
So he was already gone before this was even a concept, or he had like started to work on it.
Oh, he was gone. I mean, most people think that Jim was alive. They never would have done what they call the storybook stories.
Like Treasure Island and all that stuff.
Treasure Island, Wizard of Oz. Yeah, they never would have done that. They would have done a Christmas thing, but it would have been an original of some sort.
Right.
But for a studio to pick up, the Muppets after Jim was gone, it was probably easier to pitch them something that they had some idea to wrap their head around.
Sure, that makes sense.
As the first outing for the Muppets, than like some new original thing with Jim's son, who had never directed a movie before.
Right.
So that's how I sort of see this one, was them like, yeah, we can still do it.
Well, I totally see myself as being right now like the people in Star Trek who are like, everything made after Gene Roddenberry died is crap. Like maybe I'm being that kind of guy right now. But it's just a big jarring move to me that maybe I'll get more used to it when I move into the next films. But like as of right now, this is a big departure from what we saw previously.
As an adult, I like this one more because of the pacing.
Right. Like I don't think it's a bad movie. Like I just think that it feels so different from the other ones. That's all.
True.
Like it's not a bad movie. I enjoy the performances. I really love Gonzo and Rizzo. They've grown me a lot more than past movies. There was just less featured other Muppets as well. There wasn't enough time to show other Muppets as much, which is sad. But there was a ton of Muppets in that first few sequences. My God.
Yeah.
Like that's
like little tiny budget. Muppets and holes and stuff.
The dog from what's his face?
From Fraggle Rock?
Yeah, from Fraggle Rock.
Yeah. Sprocket.
So yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, and I just maybe some of those voice things that you were saying can be explained because they're new to the characters. Because I didn't notice that as much in the other movies that it was bad singing. That just came across more because I think they were pretty intricate songs as well, like a lot of ups and downs, and they just didn't do it very well. But yeah, I'm sorry to poo-poo on it.
You're dead to me. That's fine.
I think you were waiting for me to poo-poo on Treasure Island and not this one.
Maybe, but here's the thing though. Now hearing why you didn't like this one, then I think you will like Treasure Island. Okay. I just misjudged why I thought you would like it.
Because I just really like the happy, just pleasantness of Muppets in the previous movies, and that really wasn't there in this one.
Then you're gonna love Treasure Island,
even though I shouldn't.
I guess maybe I'm just wrong.
Hey, we can have different opinions. This is why we're doing this thing, to see like a new perspective on these things that we've loved for so long. Because we haven't really found, we found lots of different points of view on these Star Trek films as well.
That's true. We have. They're all bad. Just all terrible.
No,
every one of them. Oh no, is that not the consensus?
No, that's not the consensus.
Okay.
Kind of that. Yeah.
And then one thing I want to talk about is a song that I remember from when I saw this in theaters, and then from the original VHS release. And now you can't get anywhere. And I think it's called The Love We Found. And so there's a really weird, jarring scene kind of in the middle where he's with the ghost of Christmas past. And she's like, I'll take you to another one with this young lady. And he's like, no, Spirit, please no. And it's the one where Belle broke up with him.
Right.
There's a whole song, like a 3-minute song about them falling out of love.
Does the ghost sing it or does...
No, it's the two of them.
Oh, like the young actors?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's a really sweet song. And I remember as a kid, I hated it because it really broke up the movie. Like, I understand why they took it out. But as an adult, I miss that song. And I expect it to be there, and it's never there on the DVD or Blu-ray release.
Love is gone. Love is gone. The sweetest dream that you have ever known. The love is gone.
I saw that in the version I found from the Storks that they included that in another song, like in the package.
Oh yeah, the other song is sung by Sam the Eagle about like the importance of industry and business.
I can see why they cut that.
Yeah. Though Sam does have my favorite moment in the entire thing. Business, industry. It is the American way. And then,
oh no, Sam.
It is the British way.
That was good.
Yeah, that's my favorite moment of the whole thing.
That was pretty funny.
That and he's one day your foundation will be as strong in this very building, and the bookshelf collapses. I've been meaning to fix that.
And a random moment I liked so much was towards the beginning, Gonzo's with Rizzo, and He's trying to look through the window as he's talking about Scrooge, and he can't see through it because it's so dirty. He goes, man, this really is a dirty city. And then he picks up Rizzo and wipes him on the window. And Rizzo's like, thank you for making me a part of this.
Thanks for making me a part of this.
It's so, well, no, he seemed
so
earnest.
many of those.
He was like, yeah, oh, thanks, man.
so many great moments between Gonzo and Rizzo. And those little interims, like, oh, I left my jelly beans on the other side of the fence. And he like goes under, comes back through.
What? You can fit through those bars? Yeah. You are such an idiot. What? What? Hey, what? What?
I love it one scene too. I forgot what was happening, but Rizzo just quietly goes over and kisses Gonzo in the nose. It's just really cute. He's like, just to piss him off.
Oh man, it's so good.
And the HD release that the young Ebenezer, who apparently had a song that was cut, he just had makeup all on his forehead, and it just distracted me for the whole scene.
Oh, that's the song I was talking about. It's him and Belle.
Yeah, it was like, but he could just see like the makeup because it's like an HD remaster, and it's like this streak of makeup across his forehead. I did not notice. But yeah, the Ghost of Christmas Present was my favorite. That man puppet was so cool looking, and it was just really neat. I like that puppet a lot.
Yeah. And then Death was, Death.
Typical, yeah.
Like exactly what you would expect. No surprises.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
all right. Well, I'm sorry I didn't like it as much, but it makes me think that you're going to like Treasure Island more than I thought.
Possibly. And I didn't dislike this movie. It was a good telling of the Christmas Carol, but funny moments. But I was just like, there's some holes in it too for me.
All right.
It was just jarring going from what we've seen to this. It was a big difference. So
just remember, the next movie has Tim Curry. So
you can't beat that.
Get ready for it. Because it doesn't have Michael Caine, Master Bruce. I will not watch you die, Master Bruce.
Merry Christmas.
Michael Caine.
Where is Michael Caine?
What do we do when we fall down, Kermit?
Humbug.
We get up.
Oh, he's back again. He never left us.
I think that's been our review of Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah, we don't have to recap the whole story. I think everyone knows the story.
Yeah. There was no point in getting into that.
The only difference is that this is being told, narrated by Charles Dickens as Gonzo, which is kind of cool.
Oh, there goes Mr. Humbug. There goes Mr. Grim. If they gave a prize for being mean, the winner would be him. Old Scrooge, he loves his money because he thinks it gives him power. If he became a flavor, you can bet he would be sour.
All right, so now I've got a segment called Nutmeg and Nostalgia.
Woo!
Where I've got a list of the top-selling Christmas toys from the years of our youth, and we're going to go through them and talk and just reminisce.
Nice.
So I started with the year we were born, because these are the things that would have been then hand-me-down toys to me in my like early life.
Were you born in the same year as me?
86, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were 87 for some reason.
No. I'm just summer, so I'm late.
And yes, I know our older listeners were young. We get it.
Yes. Okay, so 1986, it was this home laser tag set that I remember my buddy Joe had, and it was a hand-me-down from his older brother.
It still worked?
It takes like 18 AA batteries to run.
Of course, the dies in half an hour.
Because each of the chest packs has 2 batteries, and each of the guns has 4, and there's 4 guns and 4 chest packs. Like, it just was nonstop. Which is, you needed so many batteries to make it happen.
Very impractical.
Very, very impractical. I had a different version of it years later. In the 1987, we got Jenga. It's crazy to think that there was a time before Jenga.
Oh, yeah. I've always known it to be around.
That's right. It's that old staple that every person has, because you can lose a crazy amount of pieces and you can still play.
That's true.
That's the genius of Jenga.
Just be a shorter tower.
In 1988, it was the starting lineup baseball figurines.
That was the best-selling toys?
Yeah, this is the best-selling toys of the Christmases.
That's back when baseball was still popular.
Yeah. Hey, the mustaches were much more impressive back then.
and chewing tobacco.
And then 1989, the Game Boy.
I had one of those.
Which came with Tetris. I remember my dad bought one off of one of his coworkers who didn't want theirs anymore. And that's how I got mine. I was so excited.
Yeah, I had a hand-me-down one, too, that came with Tetris. And I remember I was so sad because at summer camp one year, I dropped it in a fountain. And one of my mom's clients, he was like a technician, and he did the trick where he put it into a thing of rice.
Okay.
And I pulled it out the next day and it worked. And I was like, magic. But it really works. If you put something like electronic.
I hope you literally cried, magic.
But if your phone drops in the water, don't give it away. Put in a thing of rice for overnight and it works the next day. I tried it with my girlfriend's phone about a few months ago and it worked.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing you can do is try to don't plug it in. Don't try to charge it. Don't put a lot of electricity through it. Just let it be off.
Put it in some rice or Cilicia gel and you'll be good.
All right. 1992, the Barmy Dream House. That's right.
I thought that'd be multiple seller, but I had to mention 1992 because I just noticed that Talk Boy was the thing in 1992 as well.
Oh, 93 I've got for Talk Boy.
Oh, you do? Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Because that's when Home Alone 2 came out, and that's when that shit went crazy.
Right. I love that. I had a Talk Boy. It was great.
94 it was Power Rangers figures.
Now, you haven't had any of these toys except the laser set so far?
I had a Power Rangers figure. Yeah, that's it, really. I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures, of course.
And a Game Boy, I would assume.
And Game Boy. Yeah. Let's see. Beanie Babies in 95.
Had a couple of those.
Remember when everyone thought that was going to be the big shit?
It was for a while.
For a little bit, but everyone forgets the trends also just go away.
The bubble bursts.
Tickle Me Elmo in 96.
God.
I remember that craziness. I remember seeing riots on television.
Yeah, it's inspired by that Jingle All the Way thing where people just beat each other up for toys for Christmas.
Just insane. In 97, it was the Tamagotchi. Those little egg things where you had to feed it and clean up its poo.
Those were big in school. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. I remember they got out-lawed at some point.
Yeah.
And then there were battle Tamagotchis that you had to hook them up and then make your monsters fight each other and stuff. There's all sorts of good.
Early Pokemon stuff there.
Yeah. 98, we got the Furby.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that thing. I remember someone I knew had one. It was real creepy.
Now, was it initially associated with Gizmo? Or did they just make a Furby Gizmo?
They were sued. The Furby company got sued and had to pay out, I believe.
Because they eventually made an official Furby Gizmo, I think.
They did, probably, maybe as part of the lawsuit.
Right.
But yeah, they got sued for likeness rights.
It looked just like it.
Yeah. There was no way to say that wasn't what it was. 1999, Pokemon cards.
There you go.
And cut off at 2001. That's why I asked you. I asked Jeremy before, what year did you just stop caring about toys?
Well, we can keep going until we don't recognize it.
All right. Well, that's the thing. The perfect thing was the 2002. I've got no clue what it is.
Well, there you go.
2000, the Razor scooter.
Yeah, that was really popular. I remember that.
And then this one surprised me. 2001, this extreme pogo stick.
Don't really recall that.
Was the top seller.
Wow.
The reemergence of the pogo stick. And then 2002, the one I don't recognize, the first one after your cutoff was the Fur Real Cat.
Nope.
It's like a cat. Exactly.
Don't know what that is.
2003, Robo Sapiens.
That sounds familiar.
And then 2004, the Nintendo DS. Thank God. We're back to something I know.
Back to video games.
Yeah. And then most of it's electronics after that point. X360, PS3, iPod Touch, Nintendo Wii, the iPad, the LeapPad Explorer, the Wii U. The next 6 or 7 years are just consoles or tech.
I was looking up the Teddy Ruxpin because I had one of those when I was a kid, but apparently that was 85. So it's right before your list started.
And then this year's hot item I looked up, and there's something called fingerlings. And they're these little monkey puppets that clutch onto your fingers.
What the hell? They're finger puppets?
No, they're not finger puppets. They are monkeys that with clippy hands.
Okay.
Clip around your finger.
Weird.
So your finger is the branch and they're the monkey holding onto the branch.
Kids will buy anything, I suppose.
Yeah, but those fingerlings are the huge thing this year. So check them out, parents. Fingerlings.
And as you might have seen on the news, they just released that some kid has made $11 million last year just reviewing toys on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. He just opens boxes and plays with stuff on camera. It's great.
And the great joke I saw, I think it was on Colbert or something. He was and then his parents told him, that's right, you made $50 on YouTube.
Damn right.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I thought we'd relive a little bit of our childhood there. Do you remember
nice.
one toy that blew your mind away as a kid? That one thing you asked for and were just so surprised you got?
Well, I mean, I do remember playing with that Talk Boy for hours. I love that Talk Boy.
I do remember you had that. Yeah.
Because you record things from the radio, then you can record yourself over them. You could slow it down, play it back.
That was hours of fun. High speed and stuff. Yeah, that was a good time.
And then also our thing in middle school we loved was just having a video camera because we made so many stupid movies together.
Oh, yeah. You can spend hours just making dumb stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
And now everyone has one of those in their phone, which is crazy.
They're ridiculous.
Think about how many movies we would have made if we had cameras in our phones.
Or we'd not even think about it because everything's just like posted to YouTube. Pockets. Like, we wouldn't even think about it. It'd be like, oh, it's just another YouTube video. It'd be so boring. But we thought we were so cool because we actually had a camera.
And we took the time to do stuff. That's right.
Kids these days, they don't get
it. That's right. Damn. So now I've got a short game that kind of came to me a few days ago, and the perfect title came to my mind about 15 minutes before we started. And the game I've got is called Their Playthings or They Play Things.
Okay.
So I've got some toys, some popular current toys, and I've got some independent bands. And Sherman has to tell me whether what I tell him is a current toy or an independent band. So either Their Playthings or They Play Things.
Very clever.
Damn, I'm good.
Pickles.
All right. So what I will tell you, though, is for the toys, I took the brand names out because it would have been game over.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like I couldn't leave Play-Doh in front of the name of the toy because right.
Or Hasbro's, whatever.
Exactly. You got it. So I did make it a little bit more difficult, but just so that it could happen at all.
That makes sense.
All right. Are you ready to play? Their Playthings or They Play Things?
Perfect. Let's do it.
Screwball.
That seems like that'd be a 1950s toy, so I'm going to go with indie band They Play Things.
That's right. That is They Play Things. They are a band.
Woohoo!
All right. Little Brother.
Maybe some weird kind of new doll. It's so they're playthings?
I'm sorry, that is a band. They Play Things.
Lame.
All right. Super Color Pack.
That'd be a terrible band name, so I'm going to go with Their Playthings.
That's right. That's Play-Doh's Super Color Pack.
Thank God.
My Pal Scout.
They Play Things, indie band.
I'm sorry. That is Their Playthings.
Damn it.
That is it's a toy. It's a computerized stuffed animal where like you squeeze each paw and it does stuff.
Of course it does.
I wrote down a description of each of these so I could at least verify they were real.
Nice. I also want a description of the indie band music.
It's all bad.
I'm kidding. It's all bad.
It's all bad. Elephant Parade.
I don't know how that could be a game, so I'm going to go with indie band. They Play Things.
I'm sorry, that is Their Playthings.
What is this game? What is it?
It's not a game. It's a elephant pool toy that for a toddler.
How is it a parade then?
Because they're a bigger elephant in front of a smaller elephant in front of a smaller elephant. And they all have wheels on them, and you pull them.
I call bullshit.
It's from Mega Block. If you want to look it up, Mega Block Elephant Parade.
It's a terrible toy. It's stupid.
It is. Okay, sure. So you did not get that one. I'm sorry. Okay. This one's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Beat Bo DLX. BEATBO DLX. Beat Bo DLX.
Well, this is hard.
I know.
I'm going to go with it's a plaything.
That is Their Playthings.
Good.
You're right. It's a little bug astronaut thing that looks like a nightmare of light and sound. All right, I got two more. Strange Fruit Project.
It has to be an indie band. They Play Things.
That is an indie band.
Okay, good.
All right, now this is our last one. Deltron 3030. DELTRON 3030.
An indie band. They Play Things.
That is They Play Things. You're correct. You were a rough start, but I think you finished strong.
I hope so, because that could have been a game. I see where you went with that.
And you actually ended up with 5 out of 8. More than half.
Not terrible. I almost failed the class.
Not terrible at all, but I think you did pretty well for a ridiculous game. And ladies and gentlemen, that's been the very cleverly named Their Playthings or They Playthings.
For our Christmas extravaganza.
The Christmas holiday spectacular hoopla.
So go out there and review some toys and give us a cut of your profits.
That's right. Any of those toy companies can feel free to sponsor us.
And that takes us to some trailer reviews?
Trailer reviews.
Here at A Play on Nerds, we have spent years refining our exclusive trailer rating system.
At the low end of the scale, we have Don't Waste a Match. This movie is so bad that I wouldn't waste a single match to burn it, Fahrenheit 451 style.
And second from the bottom, we have We'll See. Maybe the trailer was too short. Maybe it was cut oddly. Or maybe we don't know what the hell we just watched. We'll see.
Up next, we have Give It a Buck. Whether you hit a red box, a dollar movie theater in the bad part of town, or a cheap online rental, give this movie a buck and enjoy it without breaking the bank.
And at the top of our rating system, we have Shut Up and Take My Money. The wallets have been charmed out of our pockets, and we are ready to make our hard-earned cash disappear.
And that's our patent-pending trailer rating system for A Play on Nerds.
So this week we found some last minute. We got Jurassic
out
World.
Out of nowhere in the last 2 weeks, a bunch of trailers kind of popped up in the middle of what was a kind of a dry season.
Yeah, there wasn't much going on because I think right now it's either Oscar movies or garbage.
Right, garbage for after the new year.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have Jurassic World 2 Fallen Kingdom first.
So, what are you dating, like an accountant now, or
Owen.
ventriloquist?
Stop it.
You love a dummy.
This is not why we're here.
I know why we're here. A rescue op. Save the dinosaurs from the island that's about to explode. What could go wrong?
Blue is alive. You raised her.
Do these animals deserve the same protections given to other species? Or should they just be left to die?
These creatures were here before us. And if we're not careful, they're gonna be here after. Life cannot be contained. Life breaks free. Life finds a way.
And what I'd say about this is that it looks like it has none of the majestic wonder of the original film left. It's all Transformers action fest, dino battles, volcanoes exploding. What'd you think?
See, I disagree. I think this looks like an over-Hollywooded barrel of trash fire.
That's what I was saying.
Oh, never mind. Then we definitely agree.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
This looks so bad.
What do you think I was
incredibly bad. No, I was playing the fool for a joke because this thing looks inexcusably bad.
Oh,
I don't know
God.
what to do with this. It looks like Volcano meets Indiana Jones meets the third Jurassic Park film.
We need Tommy Lee Jones in here to say, "I'm here to stop the volcano with my bare hands."
That's the end. They're running. The dinosaurs, they hit the water. They've got nowhere to go. The lava's coming. And then Tommy Lee Jones shows up, just punches the volcano in the face.
If you haven't, you should watch our episode of Volcano versus
and then regretfully
Dante's Peak.
kisses Anne Heche.
God. Was it Anne Heche in Volcano?
It was.
Oh, it's a terrible pairing. Oh,
I know.
That's awful.
It really was. Listen to our review. I listened to it not too long ago. It's pretty bad.
I mean, great to listen to.
But it looks like, the island where all the dinosaurs are, the abandoned park, has an active volcano that's going to erupt. And so it's the question of, are they going to save the dinosaurs or not? It's decided they are, or maybe they aren't, and then they go in anyway. And them going back to the island and trying to capture samples, I guess. None of it makes sense. It looks like the second movie and the third movie had sex with a volcano.
So there's an ongoing trend here of big, huge budget tentpole pictures, studios trying to pick up these indie directors that have no experience making giant blockbuster films and giving them one and hoping they're going to hit magic where you give all this money to a person who's made these beautiful indie films. Obviously, you're going to have a magical film. But the problem is, the director comes in with an idea of what they want to do, very strong ideas what they want to do, and then the studio shuts all that down. And so in the middle, they meet somewhere, and it becomes a garbage fire.
Right. Instead of letting them make the film that they want to make, they have to make what the studio wants.
Because apparently
and they don't know what the studio wants because it's their first time. It's set up to fail.
And the first movie, Jurassic World, I think was a passable film. It wasn't great, but it was like, I see where they're going. It was all right. And that was Colin Trevorrow, I think, to the first one. But then they gave him Fantastic Four, and that
was a nightmare.
They stepped in hardcore on that one. Apparently, the original movie that was going to be made was going to be interesting and dark, but they wanted to change everything and it became this huge nightmare. They had to cut the whole end and change it, reshoot it. So they kicked him out as director in this film before he could even start. But he had already written half of it, so he's co-writing this movie. And now they pulled in a new indie director called J.A. Bayona, who did The Orphanage, which is a very popular horror film, like indie film.
Right.
And he also did a Monster Calls recently, which did okay, but also a smaller kind of emotional film. And now he's doing
a monster.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson.
I have a certain set of monster skills.
We also reviewed that trailer on a
yes,
different
we did.
show. Bring me the kangaroo that cooked me this steak.
But he's doing this movie for some reason because other indie directors, they're gonna fuck it up, and it looks miserable. But I did put "We'll see" to see if a second trailer gives us any more idea of character development or story or anything besides just monsters blowing up. I'm
gonna go ahead and give it a buck because unless I see something drastically different, there's no way I'm gonna go see this in the theater.
But you definitely watch it.
I just am gonna be disappointed.
World.
Yeah, I mean, but once it shows up at Redbox or I can grab a cheap rental online, I'll do it. But no, I'm not paying someone $30 to go see this.
No, hell no.
It looks like a nightmare.
Also,
it looks so bad.
Why are there children on that island?
I don't know. They always find ways to get kids every time. It's like, why are we're going to go to this really dangerous island filled with dinosaurs. We should probably bring some children along. It's every movie, somehow, despite extensive things, kids get on the island. That's really every movie.
Yeah, Jurassic Park 2, his daughter
sneaks on.
So I'm guessing these kids sneak on because otherwise, why would they bring them on this mission?
Jurassic Park 3, the kid crash lands on the island. They got to go save him. The last one, they send them to be with their negligent aunt, and the worst thing that could possibly happen happens. Like, literally.
Right.
Like, you could tell their parents before the last movie were like, we're going to send them for a weekend with their aunts. What's the worst thing that could happen? All the dinosaurs break loose and kill everyone.
this
and like, it literally happened. She is never going to see those kids again. That's where this movie picks up. It's where Claire hasn't seen her nephews in 4 years because of a lawsuit and a restraining order.
Yep. And they have emotional trauma.
And so does Chris Pratt.
Oh, and he looks just
this looks like
bored.
a steaming bowl. This looks like a steaming bowl of nothing.
Also, Chris Pratt is way overrated, I think, as an actor. He's good in certain parts. He's really good as Star-Lord. It fits him perfectly. Kind of goofy, not like alpha male, like super serious character he was in Jurassic World. I don't buy it. He was okay in Passengers because it was kind of just like, kind of a regular dude and not like this, like, tough guy, Bruce Willis. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah,
with him.
No.
So there you go. We're kind of hard on Jurassic World too.
Our second trailer is Alita Battle Angel, which looks like 12 other things I've seen in the last 2 years.
Well, look at you.
This is just a body.
It's not bad or good. That part's up to you.
I don't mean to be rude. Am I supposed to know you?
Actually, we just met.
It's a harsh world. The strong prey on the weak down here.
Does it bother you that I'm not completely human? I'd do whatever I had to for you. I'd give you whatever I have. I'd give you my heart.
Alita, they will come for you.
Why?
I think you are someone very special.
Yeah, they keep taking these animes and trying to make them into live action films. This is also based off an anime. And they keep failing, which is weird because I saw Ghost in the Shell just recently, the Scarlett Johansson one. It was good. I really enjoyed it.
It was okay. It wasn't really quite what I was expecting. Because how it was advertised, I just didn't get what I was walking into.
Right. And I've watched the original anime and a long time ago, and it was really weird and out there, and they kind of reeled it in a bit for this movie.
Right.
But it was still really interesting and different, a cool world they created, and I liked it. So,
but it looks like the same like motif that we've seen in every one of those things that you're talking about, which is that like robot gains consciousness or has consciousness put into it. Robot comes to terms that is robot. Robot is torn apart by its need to be a human and accepted, and a robot. In the end, it's forced to choose between humans and robots.
In a cyberpunk future, which is always been the thing.
And for some reason, it's also a weapon.
Right.
Like, I feel like I've seen this plot in everything ever. And
it feels just like Ghost in the Shell right now, basically.
The Ghost in the Shell, Blade Runner, iRobot, like all those things just go on and on and on. And I feel like there's so much of it. Apparently people are outraged because they made the character's eyes all big and goofy.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I look at them like, I get what they were trying to do. They wanted her to look just not human.
Yeah. I didn't mind that at all.
And at some point, someone said, like before the front, do the eyes look too big? And someone should have said, yes, they're still just a little too big. I think if they had dialed them back a little bit, they should have made them just big enough to be offsetting. But I think they look so big, they look cartoonish.
Right, there's like almost too much CGI going on, so it looks like she's completely animated as opposed to
where they should have just
tangible person.
Yeah, they should have used it to enlarge it to make it just off.
Right,
just too big.
I could see that.
But I don't know. I'm not gonna. No, I'm not. I mean, this is a don't waste a match for me. I won't see it really.
Well, I love Christoph Waltz quite a bit. So, and Jennifer Connelly has also always intrigued me. So. That pulls me in a little bit enough to where I won't say don't waste a match, but I'll say we'll see.
Yeah.
I'll see what the critics say about it. And I like Robert Rodriguez, the director. He's done Desperado and a lot of crazy other like action flicks and stuff. So that's kind of cool.
All right. So I got to don't waste the match over here.
Fine. I won't fight you on that one.
No. This one is, it looks weird and bad. I don't know. All right. So now I think it takes to some radical recommends.
I recommend.
If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up.
What do you recommend I do?
I recommend Pleasant.
I will go first. And while I do love Muppet Christmas Carol, it is not the best Muppet Christmas thing. It's just not.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've got my recommendations for other Jim Henson Christmas things that you should watch instead of Muppet Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got three to give for you. One is the Muppet Family Christmas, which I think I've talked about before as just my favorite Muppet thing ever, Muppet production. Fozzie and the Muppets show up at Fozzie's mom's place unexpectedly for Christmas. Tons and tons of guests show up. Mayhem occurs. Piggy goes missing. Great songs, appearances from every Muppet group. It's absolutely great.
Now, is this a special from the TV show, The Muppet Show?
No, this is was a made-for-TV special for ABC, I believe.
Oh, but not quite a movie, so we can't review
No, it's like 40 minutes or 45 minutes long.
Okay, gotcha.
And then another special, and all these are specials.
Gotcha.
Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, which I think I've also talked. Great, not really the Muppets you know and love, different characters, but it's the classic Gift of the Magi bit, done with cute otters and great music and singing. And it's got really good old-timey feel to it. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, and then another special, but this one was a made-for-TV movie. It's a very Merry Muppet Christmas movie, which is the plot of the Muppets that came out with Jason Segel, plus It's a Wonderful Life.
Huh.
And it's like they made them had a baby, and Joan Cusack plays the villain.
Well, we'll have to review that one by next Christmas.
Very Merry Muppet Christmas movie. I highly recommend it. Not a theatrical release, but I think a better example of what the Muppets can bring to holidays than Muppet Christmas Carol.
Well, if it's a feature-length movie, we gotta review it.
We can.
To equal out with Star Trek, man.
That's right. Oh, God, we got some bad ones. But yeah, those are my recommends. 3 things to check out instead of Muppet Christmas Carol.
And that was Emmett and Otter's Jug Band Christmas?
So Muppet Family Christmas, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Oh, Emmett Otter. Okay.
Yep.
That's his full
and
name.
It's a very Merry Muppet Christmas movie.
Gotcha. All right. Well, my radical recommend for this week is something I just happened to catch on Netflix as what we usually recommend, which was Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond. You might have seen it on your recommended list.
I got to watch about half of it, yeah.
Yeah, I finished the other half of it the other night, actually. And it's just I was obsessed with the comedian Andy Kaufman when I was a kid, when I was like in middle school. We had to do a report on somebody and pick a biography to read, and I picked him, and I read his biography, and then I started watching all his old clips and getting things from the library about him, and because back then there wasn't a lot of YouTube yet.
That's right.
And then right along that time, it was perfect timing, is that Jim Carrey, who of course we all loved at that time, he was going to play him in Man on the Moon, this movie all about Andy Kaufman. And I had no idea at the time, but apparently he was filming his whole process of doing that movie the whole time, making a documentary about the production of it. And so this documentary actually takes that footage and puts it in perspective with Jim Carrey's life and interviews him now and his crazy full bearded self. And he's got crazy eyes and everything. He says lots of weird shit in this documentary, but just shows how he went kind of off the deep end on this documentary, becoming Andy Kaufman, and we wouldn't go out of character. And it really also puts in perspective his whole life as an actor and how he kind of went to this meteoric rise to fame too quickly and kind of how that affects people. You kind of see him going through that in this process, which is really weird and interesting to watch. So not a light thing to watch, but definitely
And it gets really deep at a few points where like Jim Carrey became Andy Kaufman and stayed as Andy Kaufman, who then became Tony Clifton, and Andy Kaufman refused to be addressed by Andy Kaufman while playing Tony Clifton.
Right.
So you literally have Jim Carrey playing a guy, playing another guy, and refusing to go out of character as that other guy.
And other actors on set like Paul Giamatti and Danny DeVito are having to deal with this, including the poor director who's just going nuts through this whole process. But yeah, it's interesting to watch for sure.
But yeah, I recommend checking it out. It's some of it's absolutely nuts. His stuff when he was being Tony Clifton, some of that is just nuts. The bag over the head thing is insane.
It was nuts.
Just crazy.
Really weird. And he's still really weird to this day.
But yeah, that's a double recommend.
Thank you for being a friend.
So our thanks section today, we have a couple of mentions from our last episode where we reviewed Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Sean Vanderloo from the Rusted Robot podcast and Soulforge podcast said, "You guys rock," on our last episode. So thank you, Sean.
That's because we gave him a shout out.
Well, that too. Also, Daniel Peter.
Actually, I'm not sure a shout out so much as we cursed his name, I think.
And then we played his promo, so it was okay.
Yeah, we did.
Hey, fellow nerds, it's Sean here from the Rusted Robot podcast saying you're listening to Steve and Jarman on A Play on Nerds. Keep it nerdy, my friends.
And Daniel Peter Hitch, author of Bubbles the Pirate and more, said, now if Chang were played by Michael Caine, that would be something.
That's right.
Hello, Captain Kirk. Good to see
you. Should hear it in the original Klingon.
The original Klingon.
The original Klingon.
And he says, thanks for the shout out, guys. Very humbled and appreciative. And on a review of one of my favorite Trek movies, too. Bonus. So,
yeah.
And he spelled it favorite, the way that Brits do.
Ooh, favorite.
we're the ones spelling it wrong, apparently. Because
yeah, Americans. I mean, we just crawled out of the sad husk we left behind called England.
We don't need that extra U in that word. Take that out of there. That's too much work. That's how that works.
Cool. Well, yeah, we actually had a lot of responses on Facebook and a lot of back and forth, and that was very nice. So thank you to our community.
Absolutely.
So whether you're celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, In-Betweenika,
Kwanzaa,
whatever the heck else, however you observe it, we want you to have a happy holiday season. At the very least, take time to be with the people you love, share a little bit of peace on earth, and wish just a tiniest bit of goodwill to everyone around you. Thanks for being with us. We'll keep being your nerdy co-hosts in the new year if you keep being our nerdy audience. Thanks again, Internet.
Happy New Year and stay nerdy, my friends.
Thanks for listening to A Play on Nerds. Find all of this content and even more nerdy news, reviews, and fun at www.aplayonnerds.com.
Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter so you know the exact second we release new podcasts, articles, and other nerdy content. We know you're impatient.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Podbean, Buzzsprout, Podomatic, and whatever the hell else you use.
Also, please leave us a rating and review on your chosen podcast platform so we can be discovered by even more nerds like yourself.
However you do it, check us out.
And how.